proposal. If somebody's here for a parks bucket list. Great, thank you.
First off, I want to start by saying that it's a terrible name. We thought about it. We thought about the idea a lot. We liked the idea a lot, but when I was entering it, first thing that came to mind, I put it up. But the idea was kind of how can we guide people want to when they want to do something outdoors, they want to do something in general. How do we guide them into coming up with things that they want to do? So our initial thinking was, how do we come up with a way to guide someone into coming up with what do I want to do come up with a list of what I want to do in the next few months, next few years, whatever. Come up with a list of activities I'd like to partake in. And that was kind of thinking of, initially we want to give a set of guided questions that'll help them build their list, and then kind of plan the future. What do you want to do?
Thanks, Shams. So we're trying to get not only people out to the parks, but inspire them based on some of these curated lists. Now, these curated lists, we were thinking, not only do we open up a community for people to, say the top 10 hiking places in Shenandoah, or the top 5 places to take your kids, but you can also have curated lists from experts, so like park rangers and people who are out there, and it can vary by skill set. So based on what Shams was saying too, when you're asking them at the very outset, what are your interests? What activity level do you, in terms of hiking, are you an avid hiker, or do you just want to camp for the weekend? It's based on location. So all of those key things around location, activities, and interests, and then even opening it up potentially to advanced features like, is this accessible, or is it pet friendly? So we're pretty excited about the idea, collaborating with others, and like you mentioned, in terms of the Flickr data and getting all of that, just so it's inspiring and consolidated in a way that makes sense.
It also gives us an opportunity to mesh a lot of different data sources. So as part of the guided search, we want to make sure that we reach out to as many kind of open data sources as possible. RIDBY would be the first option, obviously, our first opportunity to interact with the open API, interact with the trails data, with the bison data, see, actually build more interesting questions and kinds of ways to guide your list building.
Just shout out your names so we can.
Sure, Giselle.
Giselle and Shams.
Great, thank you. Great. Okay, and we have 2 by Mojo DNA, Strava Open Space Report Card, and Trail Assist.
So I'm Seth from Stanford, and Mojo DNA elsewhere. Anyway, so the first idea here is that in keeping with the Cali Parks premise to meet people where they are, lots of people are using Strava to record activity data, and we'd like to be able to connect that with various open space data sets, specifically PAD-US, so you can compete with your friends not on how fast you ran, but on how many parks you managed to experience during whatever activity you did. So we're going to combine the 2 of those. So if anyone's interested in that, come find us. The other idea is something that we've been running into a bit recently, where a lot of trail data sets that are managed by agencies disagree with crowdsourced data. Personally, I'm a huge fan of open data and crowdsourced data, and I don't think it's going away, but there are some conflicts there. So we'd like to find a solution, or find a proposed solution to dealing with things like social trails and illegal roads and places where you shouldn't be taking your bike or whatever. And then also providing some visual tools to compare trail alignments from agency data sets and compare it with what's available from OpenStreetMap, ideally to help both improve. So yeah, those are the 2.
And we're being joined remotely by someone that Chris is bringing up on screen now. And I'm going to take the microphone over here so we can hear his name. Just taking a moment.
James, can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
I think so. All right, so NP Matt, thank you for joining us remotely from Fort Collins, right?
I'm actually in Denver right now. I have a mountain party at Fort Collins in an hour. I have to drive up to, so hopefully this goes well.
All right, great. Well, you're on the docket now, so go ahead and kick it off. Hopefully you can see everyone.
Hey, hi everybody. So I wanted to talk about our Places project, and we have an internal project called Places that is basically a clone of OpenStreetMap that we use internally, and it is pretty much the same thing as the ID editor, so people can go in and edit their parts in here. Just a quick example, Rocky Mountain. We switched to editor here, and what we really want to do this weekend is we open this up to the public, and we want to get people to contribute any trail data that they have, and to go in here and use some of our tools, the loads. We've included included the Strava overlay, so you can use the slide tool from Strava to make your trails more accessible. And the other great thing is that we're using CardDB to expose all of the information in our trails, so we'll pass out these links so people can access what's in our system. Our system is live and pushes out to CardDB, but the public system is going to be collected this weekend, and after everything's done, I'm going to go back and get some statistics on what was done, and I made a short 8-minute video to discuss more about it. So that's all I have about NPMap. If you have any questions, find me, I guess, on chat or Twitter. I'm not sure how everything's going about, but I'm Jimmy Rocks on Twitter.
All right, awesome. Well, thanks, Jim. I think due to some technical issues on my end, I was probably the only one that saw the first half of that. So we will, except for Jerry's wonderful finessing of the Wi-Fi at the last minute. Thank you, Jerry. We will have the video playing as we take a break. So for those of you that are interested in sticking around, seeing what Jim and the NPMap team has been up to, they've been doing some fantastic stuff. And for you, Jim, we are going to have a Slack channel, so that's probably the best way for us to work with you going forward. So we'll get that information also out and posted and up. Well, we got one more, and then I guess whatever's on the list, right?
Okay, next we have Jamie Schmidt. She is with the Forest Service Trails Program. Hi, Jamie.
Good morning, everybody. I'm really happy to be here. I'm with our National Office of the U.S. Forest Service. We are so excited to have all of you guys here and to see what the creativity can do. Forest Service is the first of many agencies to just fess up. We're not on the cutting edge of app developers. I mean, what we want to do is get you good, credible data and then have you go to it. So specifically for trails, I'm here today, and if you've got questions about either federal trail data standards, I'm one of the national co-leads for the federal trail data standards that are published by the Federal Geographic Data Committee. So that's a standardized set of data attributes, about pushing 50 attributes, common language. If you've got questions about that, see me. But specifically for the Forest Service trails data set, the Forest Service has 158,000 miles of trail, which is the largest managed system of trails in the country, and we think the world. So we have a lot of trails, and we have a lot of information, and we're working really hard to stand up and push out our integrated data set, which is fully integrated tabular and spatial data. And so our data structure is set up to handle is if somebody out in eastern Montana says, where can I go on the Gallatin National Forest, ride my mountain bike in July and not run into motorcycles? The data set is set up to accommodate that, and we're working as fast and as hard as we can to publish that data. We mentioned crowdsourcing. You know, the federal capabilities with budgets and resources is not growing. That's an understatement. And so we're very interested in how can we expedite fleshing out our data sets, running it through a clearinghouse within the agency to make sure that it's legit, that yeah, you really can have your mountain bike there, and yeah, the trail really is on the ridge, not the canyon bottom, but we're just really, really excited to push forward, to push our data set forward. We've got a formal process to publish the data externally, so once it's been cleared, the authoritative data, it's available through map services. We also have a status map service so that developers can watch and go, well, who has published their data? What forest? What can I grab? And that data is updated daily on just a constant feed. So again, I think just really excited to see what folks are going to be able to come up with this weekend and into the future. So Trails data, I'm one of the folks here.